My name is Chris Bedford. I'm the team meteorologist for Oracle Team USA. My role is basically fuel manager for the team. That is to make sure that the boat is in the right place at the right time with respect to the wind, which is the fuel that makes these boats go. The terrain around this bay is very complex, and not just in the bay itself, but in the surrounding areas. The valleys inshore heat up a lot and create a very strong thermal, which pulls the very cold air over the Pacific Ocean into the bay here. And how those two air masses, that warm air mass inland and the very cold air mass offshore, interact makes things very complex here. Then add in the terrain. The terrain and the way the wind funnels through the Golden Gate into the course area makes this a very complex place to sail. Things will be changing though as we go into the America's Cup match. Basically, we start to go into the transition season where you can still have very strong summer-like sea breezes, but other days we may not get quite the heating inland, for example, that's necessary to drive a stronger sea breeze, and you can have sort of light to moderate winds in the course area. So really, sometime in September there, the wind kind of falls off a cliff and we get a very abrupt change in the weather pattern here in San Francisco. We actually do a forecast the night before that tells us what conditions we think are going to occur, and then we have some opportunities as the morning goes on as we see things developing to make some other modification changes and changes to how the boat is set up as we get closer to race time. Once the boat is configured, it's really just sort of what I refer to as nowcasting. That is, what's going to happen sort of in the next hour, the next 30 minutes, the next 10 minutes even. And then that can help determine what their strategy might be during the race. In weather forecasting, there's always pressure, but I've been doing this a long time, and I realize that there's a lot of chaos involved. So really, I think part of my job is expectation setting, and that is letting them know when I don't know what's going to happen. That's almost just as important as telling them what I think is going to happen. I do switch off occasionally, but not very often. It's an occupational hazard to be always looking up and seeing what the clouds are. It's the first thing I do when I walk out of a building is look up.